Hello and welcome to this very special Out of Lives podcast. This is the Ubisoft Reactions podcast. We've just watched the Ubisoft E3 2016 conference and it was really fucking long.
Yeah, 2 fucking hours is just not happening.
That could be condensed down into an hour easily.
Easily. I'm not Ross Miller. I am David Wyatt. But joining me is Adam Thomas.
Hello.
And someone from out of nowhere.
I'm used to watching 3-4 hour shows. Fuck me. I thought the WWE was bad half the time. This. I'm Oliver James from Out of Nowhere. Do a wrestling podcast.
They are a wrestling podcast. They tell me. I've never listened. Anyway. I kid. I listened to that one that Ross was on for all of like 10 minutes. Yes, so Ubisoft. Overall, before we jump into the games, what did we come away thinking? Did we think it was a good conference? Do we think it was a bit... We know it was long, so we'll avoid talking about how long it was.
Yeah, I would say it's a good conference. There's a lot of games in there that I actually like the look of, which is a good thing. Although, as I said, they did talk about a couple that I could have done without, but hey,
What about you, Ollie?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of games that actually interest me more than I thought. I kind of went into this conference not really expecting to be enlightened by a lot other than South Park, and I come away thinking, actually, there's a few good things in there after all.
Yeah, see, the thing with Ubisoft is I do like Ubisoft games, but I never really trust their E3s because they show these amazing sort of slices from the game, and then when you actually get it, you're like, yeah, it's good, but it's not what you made it out to be. But anyway,
the real reason I don't trust their E3s is because they always start with something utterly bollocks like fucking Just Dance.
Wow, what the fuck was that all about?
That's the sort of thing where you go, I'm getting ready for this, and then you go, oh god, no, fuck it.
I thought we were still like in the opening part. Like I didn't think it had started, and they were all dancing around or whatever.
Oh, that half-an-hour pre-show.
Yeah. Yeah, which I didn't watch. Interestingly, when she was talking about Just Dance, she said it would be available for the NX next year, early next year. So, like, that means the NX is coming soon, and that it must be a home console if it's got Just Dance on it.
And it must be released next year, because I think they said Just Dance was coming earlier to PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, it's coming out this year on it. Yeah.
So
which I thought was quite an interesting, it's the first time something else has mentioned the NX in a while.
I think we've mostly heard about the NX, frankly, and it's come from Ubisoft.
But it must be a home console if it's having Just Dance. I don't imagine it being a handheld with Just Dance on it.
Well, we're doing a good job of talking about Ubisoft.
Just Dance is a Ubisoft game, Adam.
Yeah, but you're spending your time talking about NX. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Leave that to out of rupees.
Yeah, we have not much else to talk about for Just Dance, so let's go on to Ghost Recon. Now, this was one of the highlights from Ubisoft's last E3, I thought. Saw more of it today. What do we reckon? What do we think?
I'm liking the idea behind it. I like the idea of the gameplay that they've got going, which excites me, but I do want to see a bit more of the gameplay to make sure that it's not just the same shit every single time, because they caught me out with Watch Dogs a little bit with it, where, oh, that's a great idea, and then it's not really as good as I was hoping, so I'm excited but tempered.
What about you, Ollie?
The thing that we were discussing in the as we were watching this all was that there seems to be GTA Heists the game.
That's crazy, because we were not in the same chat. Oh yeah, we was. Oh my god, I'm so tired. No. I thought you two were discussing it, just realised what I said, and I can't edit that out. It does though, doesn't it?
No, it is those big heists you get in GTA, but that's just this game, and I think the potential for that could be fascinating. It's just, as we saw with the original Division trailer and the Watch Dogs original trailer,
it all comes down to the execution.
Yeah, can they actually execute it across an entire game and not just one vertical slice, as with Ubisoft like to do?
Well, unusually, I've heard a lot of people say that they don't think the graphics in this look very good. So that's the opposite of Ubisoft normal trailers, where, oh, the graphics are amazing, and then the game's a bit shit.
I was watching on an iPad, and my stream wasn't that strong, so it kept dipping out, but when it was high quality, it looked alright to me.
Yeah, I'm not one of them. I've just heard quite a lot of people say that. It's like, oh, the graphics aren't that impressive. I'm like, well, I would rather that than pretend that they are and actually just get the game to
No.
work.
Yeah, no, I agree. So this is a solo game and a four-player co-op game. Do we think there's going to be much story? So far, all we've got is that a Mexican drug lord has taken over Bolivia and turned it into a narco state.
I
I don't
think
think it's going to be story-driven,
that they don't need their story. All they need is context to give you reason to go about shooting people. So that's what they've done.
which is fine.
Yeah, they cordoned off an entire country in Bolivia, so that'll do.
Though the way the producer was talking about it, I thought they actually had at one point gone into the drug cartel market, and this was like Ubisoft's announcement to the world they're now dealing cocaine through Bolivia.
Yeah, well, we were just actually, trying to figure out how it would be, and then we discovered you can make quite a lot of money doing this. So we thought we would just carry on.
Yeah. Aisha Taylor did look a bit hyped up, didn't she? She looked a bit. Um, so they're going for the largest open world Ubisoft have ever done before, which is a statement because they're quite well known for their open worlds, and the majority of them are quite large. But I liked it said a variety of ecosystems. All I saw was brown, a brown ecosystem.
It was a very pretty Just Cause 3, wasn't it? Is what we saw.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I'm not so concerned about the size of it, more that they actually fill it with things that are worthwhile. If it's just big empty space, then that's not going to really work.
They've done alright. I mean, like, I like the majority of Ubisoft games. I like Far Cry and I like Division. I know some people don't, but I'm not too worried about that. But it had its trademark awkward voiceover when they were playing. Did you notice that?
Oh, the one at the end of the CGI trailer was a fucking disaster. What was it? For hit the money, hit the drugs, hit the king, or something?
Yeah.
Oh, just shut up.
Was
If
it
you
just-
cut that one bit out, I would have liked that trailer like 10 times more than I did. That ruined it right at the end.
It was more the way they were talking to each other when they were playing. Like, I know it was obviously pre-recorded now, but it was like, okay, there's one. I'm going to shoot him. All right, you take care of that. I'm going to go round it. And it's like nobody talks like that, is it?
Yeah, but that happens
one
in
of
every game trailer.
Ubisoft's
for some
trademarks.
reason.
It's one of their trademarks at this point, isn't it? I mean, we even saw Towers and their new trademark, the drone. So,
Yeah. Please hope they keep the drones in this game. I know that they cut the drones from Division. It was one of my best, most anticipated features of that fucking game. Right, moving on. We got that. I really loved the beginning to the next game. Looked like they were about to go into Watch Dogs, didn't it?
Yes. We were all sat there thinking, what's this?
Yeah. We was all gearing up, ready to write a Watch Dogs story. No, it was a bit of a curveball. It was actually South Park, the fractured butthole. So far, probably my game of E3. This game looks amazing.
They have definitely picked up off from where the Stick of Truth left off, and they've just, from all accounts, seem to have improved on it in not just terms of the gameplay and the fighting, but just the wittiness, the comedy, the writing. It's like the TV show again, which we all said about Stick of Truth, but it's just a continuation of it.
Yeah, it's probably the most true to source material game. I bet the best adaptation of a TV series or film, like in a game. Like nothing else captures it like South Park has. Just watching the cutscenes then was like watching an episode of bloody South Park. And that trailer, when they were all talking about what phase their movie was going to come in, I was proper cracking up, laughing.
I think they have probably gotten onto Marvel and DC, and you saw him wrecking the DC fanboy that commented towards the end of it, saying you're not going to get past the phase one of your movie.
Yeah, it was perfect.
They're completely jumping on what's rife to be spoofed right now, and we saw South Park take the piss out of Lord of the Rings. We've seen them do it to Game of Thrones. They're obviously going to hit nail on the head here again with the Marvel movies.
The combat system looks much more updated. I didn't really have a problem with the previous game, the sort of turn-based Final Fantasy style combat. Now though, it's looking to have a bit more of an XCOM. You can move about the arena, kind of get cover and so it looks a bit more strategy. So it's great that not only they're improving the humor, they're actually making the core game better. So I'm just so happy. What about you, Adam? You very quiet.
I don't have anything to say about it. I'm not a fan of South Park. It looks fine, but I'm not. It's one of those. It seems to be everything South Park fans want. So more power to it.
Fair enough. No, it is an acquired taste at this point, I think, so far. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be good. Then we had the survival trailer for the second expansion to Division. We saw the first trailer for the first expansion yesterday. Anyone still play Division?
No, I didn't even pick it up after playing the beta.
Ollie?
Again, I'm unfortunately not a long-term Division player. I messed around with it, but it didn't click for me. I was one of those people who, when you play a Ghost Recon game, you kind of expect a few things, and I wasn't getting it from the Division, so unfortunately I didn't end up with any of the DLC.
No, fair enough. We haven't even got the first DLC yet, so it's difficult to get excited about the second expansion. I don't know. Looks interesting. I'm willing to go back to the game, but it's whether or not I can persuade other people to come back with me, because it's definitely a game you want to play with people rather than by yourself.
Yeah, well, that guy nearly got himself killed by being on his own until his friends came to save him. So
It was quite a cool trailer, but I mean, it didn't really reveal much about what to expect. I mean, weather.
I do like the idea of it, that you're just getting plunged into a storm with nothing, and you've got to try and survive. It seems like a good idea, but again, depends.
How it's
Really depends.
executed.
Yeah, depends on what you see in the gameplay trailers and stuff that will come eventually.
It's an interesting
100%.
take on like the survival horrors that we're getting like loads of. So it's interesting how they incorporate that. I think is what they're trying to do into the Division and make it more appealing or try and capture that audience. Unless I'm misreading it, but that's the kind of vibe I was getting from it.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I just, as much as I really enjoyed the Division and I loved the amount of time I spent in it, it didn't quite live up to what they promised, which is a common thing for Ubisoft games. So I won't get too excited, but I will play it. I have the season pass, so I'm going to play it at some point. Anyway, I'm not even going to attempt segues at the minute. But the next one was a bit of a strange game, I thought. So we moved on to VR games, and we saw... Now, Eagle Flight sounds like a silly game, looks like a silly game, but nothing compares to how silly you look whilst you're playing the game. Having, was it 5, 6 of those people all like in a row with headsets on, leaning side to side? What was that? Like, put them behind a curtain or something, save their dignity.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to be dignified in using VR when people are watching.
The game itself was an interesting premise.
Yeah, people have been asking since they announced it for like, what are you actually going to do playing it other than fly about? If it's 3v3 kind of player versus player modes and stuff like that, well, that's quite cool actually. It's worth actually having for your VR, because that's something a wee bit different that you wouldn't do any other way. And I did have that moment when they were putting the headsets on, going, "Oh fuck, this is going to be a disaster," and it went well. I actually enjoyed watching it, which is an improvement on some of the other things that have been demoed before, especially on stage.
Ollie, any input? Do you want to be an eagle?
It definitely looks interesting, and it's unfortunately one of those things which we'll probably touch upon when we get to the next VR thing they did. Is while it's all well and good having 6 guys there playing this game,
yeah,
when are you ever going to get 6 VR headsets in the same room running off? You're talking about 3-4 grand's worth of equipment there, and whilst I'm sure it probably does run online, you're not going to get the same experience of your mates being there like you would around, couch co-op and whatnot. So it's
bashing your head off one another.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to say in criticism about the game really is that they need to cut the fucking screeching. The Eagle Nazis are irritating.
I mean, visually it wasn't that impressive either, I didn't think, personally, but
I think VR games get away with not looking as visually impressive just because...
I guess it might look better when you've got the headset on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going for a distinctly art style look, you know, as opposed to photorealism and things. I think that's just a byproduct of the fact they've got a lot of other shit to work out to make it run.
Yeah, I think they need, the much higher frame rate and field of view and that type of thing. So graphic fidelity will take a hit. So we will see a lot of these
Yeah.
cartoony style, all the stylized graphics,
Yeah.
but they run really, really well. Like 120, 250 frame, FPS, that type of thing. Just
Yeah.
so you don't throw up when you're flying around as an eagle.
Yeah, as long as they're doing that, then I'm quite happy to take a graphical hit. I'm not that much of a, it's got to run at 1080p, 60 frames or whatever for
I
most
wasn't
games
dissing
anyway.
it. I
Yeah.
just felt like it was like, I don't know.
No,
Anyway.
but a lot of people have been dissing them, and I don't like it. Which brings us to the next one. Very good. A lot of people dissed that one quite badly, and I'm not happy.
Now, I gather that you're a Star Trek fan, then, Adam.
Yeah, that's
Like,
yeah,
big one,
definitely.
little one, middle one.
I'm not like steeped in lore and know the episode names and line numbers of every quote that's worth mentioning in it, but I do enjoy Star Trek and the whole idea of it. I'm a sci-fi nerd, put it that way. Like, I like space and space exploration and stuff like that, and going, beyond the solar system and everything. That's why I'm interested in Mass Effect, No Man's Sky, and Star Trek. And Star Trek VR sounds awesome to me.
So Star Trek: The Bridge, or no, the crew.
Bridge crew.
Oh, I got there in the end.
Close enough.
What an odd premise that was. Like, it's not what I expected. When they came on and it was going to be a Star Trek VR, I was like, okay. And it's basically you all sit around and pretend you're on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
How strange.
But every Star Trek fan has dreamed of that.
Not being a Star Trek fan, I'll have to take your word on that.
Yeah.
Have you really dreamt about being a bloody Scotty or the Doc instead of, the poor guy who doesn't get to sit in the commander's chair? Like, you're one of the snubs who just gets to press, like, the occasional button here and there.
I love how he said, each crew member's role matters, Everyone's just as important as the captain, and I'm thinking, nah, if I play that, yeah.
Yeah, because you're just lazy. You want to just shout orders at other people and get them to press buttons.
Yeah.
Also, how can you have LeVar Burton there and not give him a golden vibe?
I know. That was
missed opportunity.
It was poor on their part. That they've missed the trick on that one.
That said, though, very clever to have cast members from the series to try it out. I thought that was a clever move on their part.
That's another way of, again, going for people who are Star Trek fans, going, oh look, they enjoyed it. Like, you like these people, you like their characters, well, they enjoy it, you want to try it, don't you? That's what they're going for. I mean, yeah, it is a kind of limited premise, just being on the bridge and pressing buttons or whatever, but I'll enjoy it for a couple of hours at least anyway. And I look forward to the next VR game being a bit more ambitious, because at least it's reintroducing Star Trek as a franchise to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of games anyway, because there haven't been very many.
Is the MMO still going, isn't there? The Star Trek Online.
Yeah, but I didn't even know that existed. I wrote an article on the site actually about how there's no Star Trek games, and then got shown that one and oh shit.
Go back and amend it.
Whoops.
So both these VR games are coming to all major VR platforms. I assume that means the Oculus, the Vive. I don't think it'll come to the cardboard, but
PSVR, I think that was
PSVR,
as well.
yeah, probably. Yeah, so we are now halfway through the running order list and have taken a fraction of the time that Ubisoft did. Just saying. Next up was a game I was originally looking forward to, For Honor. We saw that last year as well, and it looked like it was going to be a slow-paced sort of tactical fighting kind of game, and actually it looked a lot more fast-paced than I was expecting. I don't know if that's for the best or not, but what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to playing it, but they do need to show a bit more of the game and give you a better idea, because maybe some modes are a bit slower paced and tactical. Maybe some modes are a wee bit quicker depending on what you're actually trying to do. I don't know. It's an interesting concept, having basically dealing mechanics in it instead of just hit square and kill people.
Yeah.
I quite like that though. Like they're bringing a proper tactics-based thing to what could simply be a hack and slash, and
Oh
it's
yeah, no, I'm definitely interested. I definitely think it's a good thing that they've done that to make it different. I just
the duels that you're seeing between the three different groups look really interesting, and you've really kind of got to outthink your opponent. And then on top of that, you've also got essentially what people are saying is Dynasty Warriors type slashing all the mobs, which as a Dynasty Warriors fan,
oh same. High five.
Oh, no. Want a minute? Want a minute to talk
Yes.
about it? Fair enough. I got more of a Rise vibe, definitely.
I've seen a few people say that.
Yeah.
I never played Rise myself. But...
It's not a negative. I quite enjoyed the game for what it was. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely gonna check it out. Looks lovely. Really does look lovely.
and the director should definitely be in Game of Thrones.
Mm.
We've got Jason Vanderberg.
Yeah, I have to say, out of all the people who have came on stage to, promote their game, he's the only one that's nailed the tone of his game perfectly. He's
just
really,
like-
really into it, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks like he's been allowed out of his home for the afternoon, doesn't it? Yeah. Come along, Grandad. You can talk about your game. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
but I like that because he's passionate about it.
I completely agree.
It's really good to see someone who come out and go, he's really bought into what he's selling here with the way he goes about telling you about it. It's great. I like that. They need to do that more often with games.
I think he needs to grow up. That's the first segue of the entire podcast. Yes, next up was the sequel to Grow Home, Grow Up. Having not played Grow Home, I don't really know much about this game, and I was too busy typing up Star Trek to pay attention. So, Adam, why don't you tell us what's Grow Up?
No idea. I
Fantastic, Ollie.
never played Grow Home either.
I played bits of Grow Home. I kind of wanted to play it more, but it kind of fell into my back catalogue of stuff that I just ended up bypassing. But it's essentially he plays his little robot, red robot. It's a little puzzle game where you have to kind of attach stems of one like branch to another, and it's interesting. It's for what I played, I played for about half an hour, and it was fun. One of those games that if you have an hour or so to play it and to pick up an indie game, then it's a great little one to pick up. But yeah, Grow Up. It seems like it kind of builds on that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who actually put more into it and be looking forward to it.
Definitely, I think Lucy's probably. I won't say gushing. Oh, I just did. Then we had a very strange moment where two grown men in onesies come marching up the hallway.
No, it's worse. Matching onesies.
Matching onesies.
That was the
bad.
straw too far. I actually almost turned it off.
And I still don't
jeez.
really don't understand why they were wearing matching onesies. I know that their game was sort of like far out and everything, but what did the onesies have to do with that? Anyway.
Oh, just carry on. Ignore it. Never mind.
So, Trials of the Blood Dragon, an 80s inspired Trials game with a Blood Dragon twist. Now, didn't we have a very similar game? Is this a sequel? Is this like a second one? I haven't had a chance to look it up, but didn't we have this last year? Is that my imagination?
You had Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what they've spun this off from, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just going to Google it because I'm pretty sure there was another Blood Dragon, unless this is the same one and it hadn't come out. That said, game looks quite fun.
Yeah, well, it just looks like Trials, except now you can run about and shoot people.
They've kind of taken a lot of inspiration from like the mods and creator content we were getting from the Trials games, and they've just gone, right, if the community's doing them, then I'm sure we can do them better, and that's what we've essentially got. So more Trials is good for me.
Yeah. Best thing about that was it's out now. You can play it as soon as this podcast finishes. I know you won't, but you could. You could if you wanted to. Yeah, interesting. I'm not a fan of the Trials games, but then I like the look of this enough that I might try it out. Definitely. Yeah, it's an interesting. I liked the 80s style advert that they had with the action figures and whatnot.
Yeah, that was good. I like
Yeah,
those.
imaginative. And then we had a really weird moment, I thought, where it all stopped and we talked about movies.
I was having a moment where Xbox talk about TV. It's the exact same feeling I had when let's talk about the Assassin's Creed movie. Like, oh, just
I don't know why I
oh.
didn't expect it, to be honest.
I was thinking that they might actually make it through an entire conference without mentioning Assassin's Creed because they did so well.
And
So well, and then they ruined it.
so yeah, we won't talk about the movie. We've talked about it a lot on other podcasts. I'm apprehensive, but I'm probably going to go and see it. Ollie?
Apprehensive. I've never been the biggest fan of the Assassin's Creed
Me
series.
neither.
It's just never really grasped me. And the ones that I have played, the one that I did really like was Black Flag.
That fact. They should have made that into a movie.
Which is the most non-Assassin's Creed game ever.
Yeah, that's a pirate game with Assassin's Creed slapped on the front.
So I'm sure it seems like it's got one hell of a cast. Like I was surprised to see half the names mentioned in it. So I may go see it just because of that. But yeah, it's Fassbender. I'm sure he can deliver, and it'll be a good movie.
Watching Fassbender in a film's always good. So
Yeah, brilliant. Watching dogs is always better, especially when there's two dogs. Watch Dogs 2 obviously was going to be shown off. Don't know. I'm having never played Watch Dogs 1. I hear all the bad things about that and look at this and think I could play this, but do I want to risk it? Do I want to fall foul of the Ubisoft curse of them promising a game that doesn't deliver?
I played Watch Dogs 1, 40 odd hours or whatever, finished it, played some of the multiplayer in it. There's a lot of good things in Watch Dogs, the hacking and stuff like that, but the major problems that it's had with the storyline, the main character, and the fact that the driving was just utter bollocks.
Which they completely skipped out over in this trailer they showed us. As soon as he got in the car, they were like, nope, we're not showing you gameplay footage of that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I find myself thinking that Watch Dogs 2 could be brilliant, but it's a year too soon. 2 years I don't feel like has been enough time for them to fix all of those problems. They've maybe fixed the problem they had with their character wasn't very interesting and they've sorted out their story, but I bet you the gameplay elements are still shit. Yeah, exactly. So maybe they've actually managed to make him interesting and actually worthwhile in some way.
I'm not sure if they've made him interesting or they've just gone for, right, what's the biggest and best buzzwords around being a hacker?
Well, make him flash instead of dull.
We've got to get anonymous in there. We've got to get, the masks and all the graphics and the hashtagging and the, it just felt like...
Yeah. The sidekick looked weird with the fucking digital eyes or whatever that was.
It felt like they were trying almost too hard to make up for the lack of personality of the first one.
Yeah,
Would be my one criticism.
Yeah, you actually... No, I agree. I've been trying to suppress that in the name of being, positive lookout on it. Maybe they've done it, and no, they're overcompensating. That's what they're doing. That means they've not fixed it.
He's quite a stereotypical character as well. Like he comes across as sort of just like a stereotypical character. Like we've seen him in other games.
It's like they've taken a sloth, one of the dullest characters, and just pumped it full of ecstasy and thought, this will be something.
Oh no, but now he's hip, so it's fine.
I like the fact that they've went as soon as, because they've made the character coloured, they've now decided that hip hop music will be the background to the game.
Well, let's not go down that route. But yeah, I did notice that. The actual gameplay though, like the stealth gameplay in there, is still looking pretty cool.
I liked it until the point pulled out an AK-47. Because when we saw him in the apartment doing all like tagging people with the electronics and blowing flashbangs, and it was kind of like, oh, he's actually going to be a spy and stealth it, and then he got his AK-47 out and was like, nope.
Well, they've said before and stuff that you can play both ways. You can either do it the old-fashioned way, or you can do non-lethal and all that. What I didn't like was what was he hitting people with? A stupid ball on a string?
Someone said it was a yo-yo, but I think it's
No, that's proper hipster. A yo-yo.
Yeah, I don't think it was a yo-yo. I think it's like a snooker ball and a bit of rope. He then decided to go and do a bit of parkour, and I was like, okay, right, it's definitely a Ubisoft game. Anyway, they then announced that they're making a Watch Dogs movie to the surprise of no one.
And they brought Sony out to announce that, and I was like, whoa, walk it back, Sony. Let's get a good game out first, and then we can talk about films.
Yeah. And they announced a 30-day exclusivity. So, Adam, you can tell me all about how shit it is for the first month.
Assuming you bought it. Might wait till you've bought it, and then you can tell me.
It's not going to be a day one purchase for me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then finally, we got a new IP.
A new genre we got.
Yeah, it wasn't quite what I expected. It actually looks quite good. I signed up for the beta just to try it out. So we've got a open world action sports game. Is that right?
Or as we call it, Wii U Island for Ubisoft.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Alps in 3D.
Looks good. Looks like visually looks good. Looks the environments look great. The effects look great. I'm not really sure who the game's aimed at. Like, it's aimed at the extreme sports people that do that, I'd imagine. But then if they can do that in real life, why are they playing it on the Xbox?
I tell you what, it would make a good VR game.
Make you vomit.
Yeah, maybe. But it would be a great VR game.
I just think it wasn't a strong enough title to end their conference on, especially with the amount of screen time they gave it, personally.
Well, I think it's the only new thing that they've got going that they didn't already announce.
Yeah.
With the amount of projects they do have in the works, it seems, and there's no way they were talking about the new Assassin's Creed.
Where was my goddamn Splinter Cell?
Buried under an avalanche that caused by one of those fucking morons on a snowboard.
I will say, after the interesting release of the recent Tony Hawk's game and the outcry around that, I think there is a large audience still out there looking for the next Skate, the next Tony Hawk, who have fond memories of the old games back on the PlayStation. So if they can capture that audience, then I think they've probably got a hit on their hands. They just need to
nail it.
Yeah, they just need to market it right and make sure it's got the content that they're looking for. So, the good soundtrack, the good visuals, the good amount of tricks that could be on offer. And
I liked how, to make it look more interesting, they had people smacking into things and screaming as if it hurt really bad.
That was one of the key features of people liking Skate was, you go, when you ever bailed, you'd break your bones and it'd show you why.
Yeah. I'm all up for that. I like when you hit the bell tower. I was like, yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Ding!
That should be on the back of the box. Wing diving, skiing, snowboarding, smacking into bell towers and breaking your knee.
Yeah, well, the last game that I ever remember actually having, snowboarding and stuff in it was like a PlayStation 1 game that I remember playing when I was younger. I think it was. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was a demo I was playing, to be fair, but back in the days of demo discs, but still,
good old demo discs.
Yeah, but there's not been very many snowboarding, skiing type games like that since. Really, has there?
Yeah, you have SX Tricky and
Amped.
There have been. It's just not a big sort of genre.
Yeah, have they just not been good enough to kind of crack, just open a wee bit more so that people know about them, a wee bit wider than just, if you like skiing.
True. And that was pretty much it for Ubisoft.
No Beyond Good and Evil 2, eh?
There was a lot of things that was missing, namely Splinter Cell. Where was Sam Fisher? Like,
You can dress up as him in the Vision.
yeah, not good enough. The only good thing about that is it makes me think, oh, they haven't forgotten about him then. Like, I really thought that was happening, so. Anyway.
The only thing we missed out with Ghost Recon, they announced the release date, which was March 7th, which means March is going to be one busy fucking month.
Well, what else is out in March?
Well, you've got this Ghost Recon Wildlands, you've got Mass Effect Andromeda, you've got Horizon Zero Dawn, then there's a
Horizon
few
will
other
probably
games.
get delayed again, so I won't worry about that. But I didn't realise Mass Effect was so soon. I thought it was like
Yeah,
you wouldn't
that's
have got
March
that.
as well.
You wouldn't have got that from the fucking EA, stream. They barely showed anything, and then it's out that quick. Well, that shocks me a little bit. Anyway, different podcast, different time. So yeah, overall, then let's mark it. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10 for that. It was good, but a little bit disappointed in places and far too fucking long.
Yeah, cut the length and dispense with the bullshit like
Just
Just
give me
Dance.
2 hours of South Park. I'd have been happy.
Ah, you would have been, I wouldn't. I'd be like, where's my Star Trek VR? Yeah, no, 7 out of 10 seems fair.
Yeah, 6, 7 out of 10 for me.
Fair enough. Right, well, that's pretty much it. Not much else to say. We're not going to hang around and take forever to end it like Ubisoft did. So, yeah, that's it. Next up, we've got the Sony event at fucking 2 in the morning. So that'll be good. I've got to occupy myself for the next 2.5 hours. But
Yeah.
I think the podcast for that's going up tomorrow evening. Is that right?
Well, I think Ross is planning on doing a reactions live like this just after, assuming anyone actually is awake. But yeah,
me, him, and Mark. I really doubt
Yeah.
we're going to do that.
oh well, you never know. But Out of the Crossfire's we're doing ours tomorrow night at some point after we've all watched it because I'm at work tomorrow, so I'm not staying up. So that's fucking handy.
And out of nowhere's getting drunk watching a wrestling event tomorrow night, so that's what we're doing.
Wow. I like to see your dedication to the cause, Adam. So yeah, join us probably tomorrow then for the PlayStation reactions, and keep checking out Lives for all the more news, and just give us a pat on the back. It's been
Make it worth it. Click on our links and our
Give us a
articles.
5-star review on podcasts, please. Whatever, I don't care. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna go now. Good night.
Bye.
Right.